Paris?
How you guys doing?
You're good. How about you?
Good, blessed, man.
Paris, what's it like for you just to be on this stage?
It's awesome. I mean, it's something that I've been working towards since, I first picked Ohio State to get developed to come to this spot and all the work that's been done, so it's awesome.
What are the biggest things that Ohio State did to help you get to this point?
I mean, I would say it's just the development. I would say it's the offseason, it's the workouts with Coach Mick. He sets the tone, he sets the mindset for the season, and I would say just the work going against guys like going against JT every day, Jack, Zach Harris. I'm going against the best pass rushers each week, so I would say just having those looks and the work I'm doing every day with Mike Seleni each and every day. I'm working plays with him. I'm doing technique with Willie Anderson, and Coach Fry helped me to transition to tackle. So I would say it took a group of people to help me to get here.
Paris,
You
talk
only
a
had
little
the-
bit about.
You only had the 1 year of left tackle. Is that something that's coming up in your conversations with teams, and how are you sort of approaching that?
No, that hasn't been anything that's been brought up with teams. I think the fact that I played a year at right guard and a year at left tackle just shows the versatility and my ability to pick up this new position, and also my willingness to do so.
Paris, talk a little bit about that transition from guard to tackle. Was it something that kind of came naturally? Was it something that took a lot of work? How did your coaching staff, how did you kind of make that transition? Because it's not something that is normally easy for a lot of offensive linemen.
Yeah, so I think I'm a natural tackle, but at the same time, I want to be part of the best five. So if I got to learn how to snap and beat a center, I'll do it. That's just how I wanted to play. But I mean, I feel like for me, I'm more naturally a tackle, but at the same time, though, it took time, and it took all those spring practices, all the time in the fall camp. But at the same time, it was like a lot of the work and most of the work were the things I'm doing away with, like our GA, Mike Seleni. He's helped me every day. I'm staying after him, staying after Coach Fry after every practice. I'm coming in on odd days when nobody's coming in and do that extra work. So that's the things behind the scene outside of scheduled practice that helped me to get here.
Hey Paris, can you talk a little bit about could you talk a little bit about your relationship with Willie Anderson and maybe some things that you're working on in your game leading up to the draft and just your pro career?
Yeah, so I've been working with Willie Anderson since I was a sophomore in high school. Since I first got told my head coach in high school that I was going to make the transition over to tackle, and to me he's like a family to me. I hit him with all the questions I have, the advice I have about the game, about life, about the transition. So I would say the one big thing that I work on with him a lot is we work individual hands, and that's something that also that Coach Fry, he also brought to Ohio State too. So it's kind of perfect that I'm working individual hands and individual feet with Coach Fry, and then Willie Anderson, his technique and all that stuff mirrors the same thing. So I'm able to bring it to practice. I'm able to receive the same coaching, the same support to get to enhance that technique, which is awesome.
Hey Paris, one of your key qualities is your athleticism. Did you play any other sports other than football growing up?
Yeah, so actually my first sport as a kid was I did hockey, and then I was in gymnastics. My mom took me out once all the guys got out too, so I made that. I wasn't in gymnastics that long, but my mom just had me put in all types of sports. I did t-ball, not baseball, but t-ball. I played soccer. I've done all types of stuff. I was in wrestling when I was younger, and I did it a year in high school. I hated wrestling, but I think it's something that helps with the mental toughness and also, again, the physicality of the sport too, and the endurance that it takes to play the sport at a high level. So, I mean, I've always been a person that's played a lot of sports, and even in football, I wasn't always a lineman. Started out as a safety, then I was a quarterback, believe it or not, and then I was a receiver and a tight end, a defensive end. So I've been playing those positions, those mix of positions, just as long as I've been an offensive lineman. So I think it's helped my game. I've done a lot.
You mentioned your mother. What role did she play in your upbringing?
Yes, I would say my mom and my dad. That was her influence in my life. So she sacrificed a lot to put me in position to be here. She sold her house so I could switch schools to early enroll at Ohio State. There's not a lot of parents that would do that, to believe in their kid. that early. I told her stuff I wanted to do. She did it. You know, she quit her job so I could take, you know, the 10,000 college visits that I took to, you know, get all the photo shoot pictures in and whatnot and see the campuses. So, I mean, for me, she's been a blessing, and she's been super supportive, and she's been a walk on me in my journey since the start when I told her I wanted to take it to the highest level. So she's been awesome.
Luke said that he talked about 3 years ago you were getting ready for your first spring practice. He was surprised that he was here. I mean, he didn't expect to be here after 3 years. You probably did. I mean, you're a five-star guy. Has that always been the plan, that you would be a three-year guy?
Yeah, so I would say that it's the reason why. I mean, for me as a kid, you grow up in Cincinnati, Ohio, you hear about cool cities, and you're like, man, once I get an opportunity, I'm out. So I kind of always wanted to leave the state because I wasn't really familiar with Ohio State that much growing up. But then I made the decision to go to Ohio State. I knew the development. I love the family vibe up there, like Coach Day and Ohio State. But I mean, also at the same time, I knew that Ohio State could give me everything I wanted to be 3 and out if I did everything right. It wasn't going to come easy, and it wasn't something that if I just sat back and waited, it would have happened naturally. But I feel like Ohio State gave me opportunities, and it gave me an opportunity to do with it as I please, take advantage as much as I wanted. So, I mean, I would say this is something I've always planned to, but again, I had to do everything right, you know.
Well, he was surprised to be here. I mean, give me your take on Luke Muscler, his journey.
Yeah, like Luke, I mean, I met him at Stanford, you know, like my sophomore, junior year, and he's a smart guy. I would say we sort of grew up together in a way of where we played together in high school, college, who knows, so maybe in NFL. It's been kind of cool. I mean, I would say with Luke, he's always been super smart, and I would say, you know, he works hard. And I mean, for me, it's no surprise that he came out in 3 to me, because I know the work he's put in when he's not watched, you know.
Harris, what are the traits that make you a natural tackle? You said you feel like you are that wide.
Yeah, I would say one, my athleticism, I feel like is unmatched, you know, in the country. I would say my ability to move my feet and my ability to be able to cover my opponent. You know, I've never played basketball because I can't dribble, but I mean, my feet can cover anybody, you know, and that's just how I feel. I don't know, because I grew up in church, a lot of dancing and whatnot, but I feel like I have good feet, and I feel like the violence that I play with too, I feel like out in space is crucial. You know, you have your guard sometimes you get a chip, but I mean, I feel like a lot of times this season I didn't have that, you know, all the time. And in order to get the body blows you need to succeed at tackle when you're on an island over and over again, is those body blows and that violence out in space, you know, to slow your man down.
What would it mean to block for a fellow Buckeye in Justin Fields?
Oh, can you repeat that?
What would it mean for you to block for a fellow Buckeye in Justin Fields?
That would be awesome. You know, I mean, so when I first came to Ohio State, I mean, he took me in, and like, you know, it's always cool, you know, when you're a young lineman, the starting quarterback, he's a humble guy, and he's always, you know, I used to beat him in Madden all the time, you know, he knows, you can tell him, you know, that's my guy, and you know, he's an amazing quarterback, he's smart, he's accurate, and I mean, it would be an honor to be back with him again.
So some of these fellow teammates of yours in the last couple of days are taking exception to this narrative being thrown around by critics saying he's a running back playing quarterback. What would you say to those critics that put that kind of stuff out there?
I would say that they don't really watch film that often. I wouldn't say they know him. You know, I would say you can go back to high school. I mean, he competed with Trevor Lawrence in high school at the opening, and you know, there's no running back in drills the opening. It's 7-on-7, and he won. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he won best quarterbacks. I mean, he's been highly touted all the way through. I mean, all the records he broke at Ohio State and all the stuff he's done. I mean, yeah, just because he has the ability to score just as easily on his feet, I think that's a plus. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I feel like his ability to get the ball, his ability to read, and his ability to be able to get out in space to make the difficult throws that not other quarterbacks can do, I think, you know, he has all the intangibles that you want, you know.
Harris,
have you met with the Buccaneers at all?
I have.
Was it formal or informal?
It was formal.
And what was your impression of Jason Light, Todd Bowles, Coach Moody?
I mean, I had a great time with them, and I think it was a successful interview, and I think I really got to know them, and they really got to know me. So I think it was a great interview overall.
Paris,
There's
in
been
respect
some
to that.
guys who've said that in their interviews or formal meetings that they've done things like play darts or shoot basketball, things like that this week. What are some of the things that you've done that might be a little off the wall?
Yeah, so it wasn't my first interview. My first interview was the Chargers, my first night here. The second day in the morning, my first interview was the Bears, and they asked me if I like to do darts or to play golf, and I was like, let's do darts. And I didn't see the board in there, but when I did walk past, I did notice a putting green. I didn't ask, I'm locked in. I was this meeting, right? And then he was like, all right, you're gonna play some darts. So he gave me some darts. I'm playing with the coaches, and he's hitting almost all he's right around the bullseye every time. The last one he actually hit it. The first two, I hit like some snacks in the corner, and then I hit a wall, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna end this meeting. And then it just hit the board, so I was happy. I hit the board in the last one. Turns out I probably should have chose golf, but yeah, it was cool. It was cool, to set the vibe. It's the first interview, I'm hyped up, and I'm ready to go. But I think just to set the vibe.
Did you have any idea that that could be something that teams might ask of you to do or offer as something to get an interview started?
No, I mean, when you come in, I think this is the most important interviews in my life, so I wanted to come on a very professional level, and I expected nothing less than that. But honestly, I think it was kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, we are guys that just came out of college. Now, we're grown men, but since we just came out of college, and I feel like for me, I wasn't stressed. I've been preparing every day. But I feel like these can be some stressful times in a way. But I think for them to just be like, you know what, like, before we get started, let's play this game. You get your mind going. It relaxes you. Now you're open up to talking. Ended up having like 18 more interviews that day. So it was cool. I set the tone, a cool pace. You enjoy the rest of the meetings because it's something that Bears interview I'm always going to remember.
How important is it for you to be the number one tackle in this class?
Can you repeat that?
How important is it for you to be the number one tackle in this class? Like, emerge from this process as the number one tackle?
Yeah. So I think the first things first, which is the main thing, and them deciding who is the number one tackle is film. And I feel like I've proven that in my film already. And with this time, it's me being able to show them in the interviews. I'm able to get on the board. I'm able to explain my technique, what went right, what went wrong, things I can improve on. What are the things I've seen? What's the mindset? How quick am I doing my memory? You're trying to remember a play installed. I think with stuff like that, I think all stuff's been great, And then I'm going to be doing the field work tomorrow. I'm going to be doing the O-line drills and the bench press, being able to show off my strength, being able to show off how I move my feet. Because I feel that's one of the strengths of my game. I can't necessarily show my violence on the field since it's all bags. I'm sure none of the coaches want me to do something extra like that. You know what I mean? But I think just being able to reaffirm, but then being able to touch and feel and see in person, it's different. It's another layer to what they've seen I put on film.
You doing just position work tomorrow?
Repeat that.
Are you doing just position work tomorrow?
I'm doing the position work and I'm doing the bench press.
Paris,